In the 2003 Dragon Power / Ask Akira Toriyama interview, when pro wrestling regarding Mr. Satan is brought up, Toriyama says he's not really a fan. And in the Dragon Ball Forever Q&A, he also claims that he doesn't believe Mr. Satan is as strong as Bob Sapp, who among other things was a former pro wrestler himself. And how could I not mention all the over-the-top and ridiculous names Mr. Satan gives for his finishing moves? It's everywhere in wrestling. But of course in Dragon Ball, finishing moves aren't just limited to Mr. Satan. It's also funny that his real name is Maku. In English, this can be pronounced as Mark, a term that originated during the carnival days. It applies to fans who aren't aware of the inner workings of the business. They are the marks. And lastly, in the Viz manga, he's introduced as Hercule, the former wrestler who went by the ring name of Mr. Satan. I've seen ideas thrown around of who Karoni could be a parody of. The main one is usually Shawn Michaels, with Miss Pizza being the sensational Sherry to his HBK. But I don't really buy that because they didn't really interact in the way Shawn and Sherry did. But then again, did Shawn even enjoy Sherry's company? Did you know in Dragon Ball, there's even freaking pro wrestling in space, bro? I gotta give a huge thank you to Kanzenshu for finding this one. This information's actually from a 3-page feature in the 1991 number 25 issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. The big green dude, no, not that one, I'm talking about Cooler's henchman from DBZ Movie 5, DOORI, was like Space Goldberg, a galactic Goldberg if you will. Apparently he was born on planet Cooler number 256, formerly known as planet Bepper. Bonus if you can get that name pun. The planet had a continent that was constantly surrounded by magma, which gave him a tough body. So what did he decide to do with that tough body? Of course, go into pro wrestling. He wrestled in the Space Pro Wrestling League, winning 300 straight matches undefeated, killing all of his opponents in the process. And it was because of this bloodthirst that he switched to becoming a planet warrior instead. Now see, this got me curious, because now I'm wondering if he was a heel or a face. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. I personally think heel, because like, you don't just murder hundreds of people and expect anyone to cheer for you after, right? Nah, what am I talking about? Yajirobe's mask. This could be a parody of masked wrestlers in general, but there's no denying that this mask is identical to the one worn by Dick the Destroyer. With a name like that, you know his girlfriend loved him. But on a serious note, Dick the Destroyer's popularity took off in the 70s in Japan while Toriyama was still in his youth. This popularity can be traced back to May 24th, 1963. On this night, he wrestled Rikidozan, who's known as the father of pro wrestling in Japan. This match was allegedly viewed by over 70 million people, which would be the largest in Japanese history. Dick the Destroyer would go on to be the first American wrestler signed to a Japanese wrestling company, and would find himself in Japanese talk shows, comedies, and music albums, and more, cementing his status as a gaijin talento, or a foreign talent, a celebrity who's exclusive to Japan. So while he may not have been a big deal in the States like Stone Cold or John Cena, in Japan he was a whole nother story. So there's no way Toriyama would have missed him in his youth. And even during the creation of this arc in 1988, because Dick would retire from wrestling in Japan in 1993. The anime staff got a bit more mileage out of masked Yajirobe. In his first fight in the prelims in episode 135, he took on a dude that looked like the Iron Sheik. Yajirobe beat him cleanly, so the Sheik fake just had to get his heat back post-match. But that wasn't gonna work for Yajirobe, brother, so he decided to eat his butt and make him humble. No, seriously, he took a mouthful of that booty. This was probably just a funny nod to Dick the Destroyer biting Rikidozan's ear after the match. There's another masked fighter that Kuririn kicks in the face, and another one that Trunks throws onto Kuririn's platform. And there's another Andre the Giant lookalike that Gohan can be seen fighting on a TV screen. And finally, Stan Hansen. This man went to Japan with the reputation for being the one to break Bruno Sammartino's neck. And he used this momentum to become a top heel and one of the most successful foreigners to ever wrestle in Japan. He's the only man to have beaten Giant Baba and Antonio Inoki in championship matches, the respective founders of All Japan and New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's a 4-time Triple Crown champ, and his reign from 1992 was relatively close to this movie's premiere. But in this movie, none of that matters. His caricature Udo lost and probably died in a squash match against Gohan in the semis. And that was it for him. The match itself pretty much sums up wrestling. The old grizzled vet going out of his way to put over young, fresh talent. What a pro. Udo may be a total jabroni, but Stan sure isn't. So much so that Akira Toriyama even caricatured the man years before he was disgraced in this movie, posing for the camera with the Raleigh. It was really fun doing research for these last two videos. I had already known many of the similarities between Dragon Ball and wrestling, but these last two videos helped me connect so many dots. Oh, and last one. This one's for fun. Goldberg versus NAPPA. Who wins? Alright, see ya.